everywhere around the world, fellow hairdresser. I'm a hair enthusiast. I love to do hair for the last 24 years, and I've been running my own salon brand called Kenneth, Roots Where Hair Begins for the last 17. And I'm also doing a little bit of education, freelance educating for Goldwell and KMS for the last 14 years. And once a while, I do some gatherings and I do some coaching for my friends, fellow hairdressers. Basically, simply just because I love to do hair. That's me, Kenneth.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for your very nice self-introduction. Okay, so the first question I like to ask you today is, tell us a little bit more about your journey and how you get started in the hairdressing industry.
Yeah, it's not glamorous. Definitely, it's not glamorous. I did not come from a family lineage where they are famous hairdresser, but my mom was indeed a hairdresser and the most traditional type of hairdresser you can find. And for my case was because after my army days, I didn't know what to do. I wasn't highly educated. I didn't have a job to go to, not trained for anything. And my mom needed somebody to help her to tide over because her employees left her in the lurch. So I was just supposed to help her for a couple of months maybe. But in 2 months into the trade, or the craft, that we'll call craft, I was suddenly encouraged by a regular client to cut for her child. Because the son's hair is long, I'm free, sitting there, doing nothing. So the client asked me to start cutting the hair for her son, and she doesn't mind. So that's how it all started. From a little boy, letting me cut hair, until eventually going around, working for my mother, setting my own place.
Can I interrupt for a bit? How long were you in the industry when? So that was your very first haircut. Were you trained before, or you just pick up the scissors and start cutting?
Well, I tell you nowadays, you are so lucky for this generation because there is so many schools and there is so many educators out there to train you, and definitely you can also learn more things online. But my time was because my mom was that kind of belief, the traditional way. Look and learn. You see already, you will learn. You see more already, you will learn more. Then one day you just try. So for me, I'm still definitely one of the luckier ones. Just try, and when I started to try it, I sort of have a natural flair for using my hands to do things. So it didn't turn out very nice, but it's okay. Better than the kitchen haircut.
So I guess some of the traditional ways still work to a certain degree, right?
Of course, otherwise it wouldn't be called tradition, right?
Right. I feel that sometimes we are a little bit too eager to throw away some of the old stuff, but after all, it's a legacy and enough blood and sweat and time has put into it. So, I feel that we need to embrace the tradition a little bit more.
Yeah, of course, because we keep thinking, we had this thinking for a very long time, especially country like Singapore where we are modernizing. We keep thinking that modernized things is better, new things are better than old things. One thing we never realize is we keep thinking new things is better without even learning what's good about the old. What was the benefit of the traditional methods? We never learn it. But I won't blame it that we never learn it, because I will say that it's a shared responsibility. We never learn enough traditions, and people from the traditional level was not trained or did not know how to teach the next generation about the tradition. So there was a missing link.
Yeah, of course, like they don't know better, right? For their generation, it's just like put food on the table, and that's about it. Yeah, and that's how they learn their rope anyway.
Exactly. And they believe that by doing more, you practice, you will have more experience, you will get better. Totally agree. The more you practice, you do get better. Just that by getting better in a more productive way, or getting better in a more correct way, or just getting better by repeating the same thing, bad way, but maybe faster. It is still an improvement, just that the direction of improvement has never, the the direction and improvement is not really look into deep enough for us to understand what do you actually mean by improved.
Okay, so let's bring the conversation back to your cutting the little boy hair, and you just fell in love with it, with hair.
Nah.
Okay.
Honestly, no. I mean, to be fair, people who knows me will know that I'm actually a very raw, honest person. Sometimes I hurt people a little bit being honest, but I feel that nope, I didn't love hairdressing then. It was just a chore. It was a job I needed to do because my mom asked me to do, and I was definitely too lazy to go and find another job.
Okay.
Guys
right.
being lazy.
Okay.
And at the same time, I felt that it's because I can do it, and by doing something that is not I fall in love, it's something that I can, and I do it pretty good. And I have people who actually liked me doing hair for them. But I wasn't doing it in a more professional manner. I wasn't doing it with a lot of passion. I was just doing a job, and the job paid my bills, got me enough money to survive, but it wasn't really enough for me to progress. It was later part when I had an opportunity where a small inheritance from my dad's passing for me to set up. So I had $30,000 to set up my first small salon, and it was a change in my life then, because after I started my salon, I had a good mentor for me to teach me the concept of business. And
Can we give a shout out to your mentor? What's his name?
Mr. Nicholas Lin.
Hello, Mr. Nicholas. Okay, thank you.
Nicholas was
How do you
one of the
met him?
reasons why I'm so honest and frank about sharing the hairdressing. It's all because of him.
How do you met him?
He was the ex-general manager of Goldwell.
Ah,
I
okay.
mean, imagine this. I'm a hairstylist from a small salon. Out of nowhere, a GM comes and talks to me, gives me advice, tells me I can think in different direction, different aspect of businesses. He was the one that taught me one of my golden rule in business. Increase your price every year, even if it's a 50 cent. Increase it every year, because the world works in this way. Inflation will never stop. Your cost will go up. You need to increase your cost, your price,
Charging.
just to cover the inflation. Otherwise, you are not going to earn better. You're going to earn lesser, and then eventually you will hate what you're doing, which we hairdressers been hearing for a lot of our friends. Oh, times are bad. I'm making lesser and lesser money. But when you ask them, when was the last time you increased price? 5 years, some even 10 years.
Some
are
never.
Very proud, very proud to say, oh, I've never increased price for the last 20 years.
I think this is a touchy conversation. There's no right or wrong answer. And correct me if I'm wrong, my personal views of increasing the price is so tied in with our confidence as an individual.
Yes, it's definitely. And the thing is, for us, one of the reasons a lot of hairdressers today are lack of confidence, simply because of the capacity and capability that they have. A lot of hairdressers do not trust their own skills enough to raise price. They tend to blame, like, oh, if I raise price, my client will go to my neighbor, which is cheaper than me. But they never think the next question. Why would they go to next door if next door is not as good as you? Or if their skills level is not as good as you, they will come to you because you're more expensive, because it's how you can rate your service. Pricing is one of the best way to rate your quality of work, and you need to choose it.
Actually, I beg to differ, because end of the day, of course, the skill is the first thing that a client come, but we are after all in the service industry. So you've seen hairdressers with very average skills, but their customer service, interpersonal skills are so good that they're coining it. So the And also, I've heard feedback from my own clients that, oh, I pay few $100s for a haircut, but I don't like it. So it's not so much about the more expensive it is, the better. We like to think that the world operates so black and white,
Of course.
but end of the day, like if a client like you, they don't care how much you're charging. They are coming for you. The price is not a factor anymore.
Of course, but in order to facilitate that overall experience, the concept of cost and the concept of running it is definitely there. You know, it has to be
100%,
come
yeah.
together. And when I meant by quality, and it's not just the skills of your craft, because it is indeed, I agree with you totally, it's indeed a total experience. For myself, as a hairdresser, and a lot of the reviews that I get from my clients, usually the few things that they talk about, you will see is never about the skills. It's about the environment, about the conversation we have, the time we spend together, my 3 little dogs in my salon, you know. So this is the things that actually make it a more rounded experience, which is something that the modern society today talks a lot about, the experience itself.
100%, yeah. Okay, so the main topic of discussion today, I'm very, very curious about this platform. 跟缘有约,
Yes.
right? So basically, this platform is correct me if I'm wrong again, a get together once a month for hairstylists, basically anyone in the industry to come together, engage, and I understand from some fellow colleagues that it's not just about discussing skills, haircut, color, but bosses can come together to discuss what are the issues that they are facing, basically anything. So what inspired you to start such a platform? And also to point out that this platform is not sponsored by any brand or anybody, purely you did this
Hairdresser
platform.
by hairdresser.
Yeah, and it's not ticketed. No, anybody want to come, the door is wide open.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, personally, I really, really like to thank you for creating this amazing platform for hairdressers to engage and to learn and exchange ideas. And wow, this is really amazing. So what inspired this movement?
One of the things I realized as a hairdresser for the last 24 years is we have stopped talking between hairdressers. We bitch a lot, we complain a lot, we find fault a lot, but we don't talk about solutions a lot. We just find that it's just so much negativity. So for me, it was actually from a very, it started very randomly, to be honest. It was very random. It was my anniversary of my business.
How
my
many
15
years?
During
Oh.
that time. It was just out of the spur of a moment. I would say, oh, I'm 15 years already. Or maybe I just shout out to my friends and my fellow hairdresser friends, you know, hey, come on, my business is 15 years old. Why not let's come out and meet up at my place?
Right.
And indeed, it came. A lot of hairdressers came. It was very touching. It was a very touching night that day. A lot of hairdressers came, friends, new hairdressing friends.
Sorry to interrupt. So you've been running you started off your career with your mom's salon.
Yes.
Am I right?
8 years later,
8 years later. So in between, do you work for anyone at all?
nah.
Okay, so my next question is, how did you met all of these friends in the industry?
Because I became a freelance educator.
With
Goldwell.
Goldwell. I see. Okay.
So at that time, there was this particular range of colors which was not widely used in Singapore. It's called Illumin. And it's not only not working much in Singapore, it was not working much in anywhere.
Oh.
Because it's a very high performance color which was having a lot of problems everywhere. So a lot of salons, a lot of country was actually putting them on the side.
So
But
mainly the
Singapore-
execution and using is
Exactly.
challenging. Okay.
Correct. But Singapore was one of the few countries that has an increase in usage.
Demand. Okay.
And because we have found a way to utilize it in
We
fair
referring to.
manner. I would say myself
Of
and
course.
some of the fellow hairdresser at that time was using Illumin, and also at the time the educator itself.
Okay,
I
okay.
work quite close with the educators. So because I do that a lot in my salon, I have a very high number of my clients using Illumin, and people started to wonder why. Because You know, they have the businesses, they will have their reports, and then Illumin is increasing in Singapore. So other countries got interested because nobody is selling that Illumin. Why is Singapore, such a small little dot, is selling? So I was being invited to Taiwan and then Hong Kong, and to share my knowledge and my usage of Illumin, how I conceptualize the product, how I price the product, and how I relate that product to my client, and made it a successful range of colors for myself.
Yeah,
and I made a name out of it.
I personally views of products is no company or investors is going to put money, effort, and time to create something that is useless.
Exactly.
Right? So my view with products is very, very neutral. Whatever brand I'm using or range I'm using, I feel that it's about us learning the characteristics and the proper execution of the products. Yeah.
Especially when a brand that is bigger, they actually have very strong R&D team. The only difference is that these people are scientists, they are not hairstylists. So they can produce products that was requested by hairdresser. But it still boils down to who was the one requesting, and then at the same time, who is the one that is utilizing. So a lot of the time, hairdressers were a little bit more creative in the lazy direction. So they had a lot of issues, and that was what happened to Illumin. So a lot of people used it without understanding the properties. So my first time when I started to engage with Illumin, when I was not very good in it at that time, I went to Hong Kong for an event, and I thought at that time there was a big more usage in Hong Kong, which I took my laptop with my Illumin colors, and then I went around my friends, new acquired friends salon to talk about Illumin, and I only got compliments. You know, everybody say, "Oh, your Illumin is damn good. You know, it's very nicely done. Everything. Oh, I also have it in my salon, but I've not been using it for so long and everything."
So you accidentally became an ambassador for
I
Goldwell.
thought so. I thought so. And at that time, my intention was very straightforward. I was not trying to show off. I have been always doing this one bad habit of mine. I've been trying to find people to tell me what is my fault. Because I work alone. I don't have someone tell, "Hey, Kenneth, this haircut is ugly. This one is, not nice." So for me, I always cherish those friends who are very honest with me. And one of my turning point was a hairdresser ever told me, "Kenneth, you're a damn good colorist, but your overall look has no concept. You can create a very nice color. The color is very nice, but there's no concept behind." And it took me many years to realize what he meant. It was years later. So from Hong Kong, I started to ask the question, and I got no answer. So I came back. I spent more time with my educator in Singapore. And then we started to find how can we get Illumin. It's a high-performing product. How can we make it better? How can we make it work? So the field concept will be, because it's too difficult to use, hence the pricing itself has to be higher. The color is more lasting. Hence, at the same time, your client's frequency is going to be lowered. You need to cover that when they are not here.
I see.
So this is where I started to put Illumin into the concept of not just using the product for creativity, but into the concept of business. So that was when I was that was why I was being invited by Taiwan and Hong Kong at that time in particular to, at the same time I forgot, Vietnam also. So Vietnam also invited me to do that, to actually explain the concept of Illumin color to them, so that they can position the product for business. Because no matter how good a product is, by the end of the day, you need the bosses, you need the managers, or you need the top stylists to understand, where can I use such a good thing? Because you are telling me this is so wonderful, but if this wonderful thing is not going to make me money, I'm going to
100%, yeah. I
Right?
mean, balancing, sustaining the business.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, during this period that you were traveling, what happened to your salon? Close shop. Oh my God, big sacrifice, eh?
But the thing is, I would say it was a very good exchange.
100%.
Because
I mean, if you can look at it as a sacrifice in a very short term.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You said it. Because a lot of us hairdressers, honestly, most hairdressers are short-term visuals. Honest. A lot of time we just see what's here at the chair. And
Yeah, but the reality, like look, I take a very neutral platform. The reality is like you got rent to pay, you got your bills and stuff like that. Yeah.
So at that time, my mind switch was simple. if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna gather something, I'm gonna gain something, I'm gonna gain knowledge, I'm gonna gain experience. But I'm definitely not gonna gain money from not being around. I'm definitely being remunerated by fairly, I would say, for my cost of losses.
Okay.
But my opportunity cost will definitely be there. So
100%.
in order for me to cover back my opportunity cost is whenever I travel, whenever I come back, that first 1 week and before and 1 week after, I just have to work extra hours.
And on the same note, I just want to tie in with like, thinking in terms of like a consumer habit. If our client are aware that wow, you are innovating, you're putting yourself out there, you're an educator, that makes it a lot easier to raise your price.
That's one thing. I would say rather than
and their trust.
And then the profile itself also. And for the client, sometimes what they know is, if my favorite hairstylist cannot survive, I have to find another one. And that journey of finding that fit is always very hard. So finding a hairdresser is second only to husband and wives.
Oh, we are so important.
Yeah, we are.
Yes.
Come on. I mean, we are slowly moving to the era where you don't lose a hairdresser, you actually divorce him. Because the line, that relationship is so much. Oh, my hairdresser understand my life, my habits, my everything, after a few years, sometimes even just after a few months.
And sometimes we know things about our clients that their husband
Of
and wife are
course.
not even aware of. Okay, so let's go back to the platform. Yes.
So, 跟原纽约 was because of the way I meet up my friends, and from there, it made me feel that I think I have a chance to bring hairdressers together. So I thought maybe let me try one more time. So the following month,
Pushing your luck, huh?
I was I mean, come on, I didn't know where we can go, to meet up. And then usually the usual meetup will be by product companies or by gala, by shows, by party. But those places you always don't talk. And as I was mentioning, my first time, that first gathering, we ended up at 2 a.m.
Oh my God.
2 a.m. You just imagine, hairdressers come in. Some at 9, some at 10.
Once we get together, I don't think we can stop.
Exactly. And then the interesting part is, the one that stayed the longest are not negative. That's the thing. We are not negative. The one that stayed the longest with the most conversation is, we are challenging each other to find better ways to improve. And personally, I have a bad habit of tricking the people to think in a more positive manner. So I challenge their negative thoughts. And I usually would suggest an option. Of course, it is within my means. I will option, why not think this angle? It could be a more positive angle. So from there, I realized that, why not? So the following month, I thought about it, and at that time myself, I was trying to do more social media work. So I started to take photographs.
So that was 4 or 5 years ago.
跟原纽约 2 years.
2 years, okay.
So 跟原纽约 just celebrated their anniversary in June. Because it started during my own business anniversary. So it's about the same time.
I see.
So the following month, 2 years ago, for the July one, because of myself, my business on taking social media, and I needed to learn how to take better photos. So I started to ask my friend, who is a photographer. And then by asking him, hey, what can I get equipment, get lights, then he started to share with me, and then it suddenly hits me. Hey, is it okay if I ask you, come down, share your valuable information and knowledge to my fellow hairdressers?
Okay, I have one question. So this friend, he's a professional photographer.
He's a freelancer.
But he used those proper Canon, Nikon.
Yes.
Okay, but I think the challenge with a lot of hairdressers is we are much more comfortable just with the phone. And is he comfortable?
At that time when he came, his intention was to share with us how professional shoots are and the difference between that and we using our phone. So you get to see
the difference.
At the spot. But the whole topic started just because I needed to buy a ring light. A lot of good things starts very weirdly, very small, but it can lead to bigger things.
Okay, let's talk about ring light. It's a very affordable too,
Yeah.
and it can support your Instagram enough. But my only one thing with ring light is that weird eyeball.
But that's what makes it nice for some photos. I mean, that's the intention for people.
I mean, it's personal preference. I'm
Of
just
course,
trying
of
to pick up something from here.
No, that's the thing is that nowadays, one of the reasons people like to see is funny, is unique, is because of that ring. The ring on the eye.
Okay.
If not, I mean, a lot of people will just buy the filtered light. Now, reason number one. Reason number two is because ring light creates a much more diffuse light around the surface where you're going to take a shoot of a person's face. So usually when you take photos, you want the person's face, especially when they're made up. So the ring lights creates a much more focused like diffusion around the face versus a square diffuse light where it wash the whole face open. So that gives that difference in terms.
Okay.
So for hairdresser, the ring light for hair is actually nicer than the diffuse light
100%.
for instant photos because you want it to look, I just did this, I didn't do it in a professional shoot. So this is possible for my client.
And with
so the
such
client
a
will feel that way.
And with such a like cheap investment, we don't have to spend
Yeah.
literally like no time like editing or even tweaking around with the lights and then compromise the colors and all of that. Okay, we need to invite that photographer friend. I'm not saying you're not knowledgeable, but I think if you keep going into light, we will kind of like off track a little bit. So, okay, today I want to talk about you more. So,
So I started to create topics. So,
Yes.
So 1 month was a friend, personal friend, who was a photographer. Then the following month is one of my long-term regular client, who was a videographer. So because I was also starting to do videos, so I was doing short videos for my work. So from there, a videographer. Then after that, we started to think about, hey, how about work? How about skills? And I started to talk about attitude, mentality, about what we have in the salon premises. So from there, we started to find different topics every month.
So who came up with the topic? Do you throw out a question or you decide?
At the beginning, I decided because in the first place, I don't know who would want to come into this, honest. So after I done that, 跟人有约, or in English we call it a date at roots. And after we do it for the next 6 months or so, I started to have some of my regular, and I started to ask them, how about you joining to be part of the 出力团?
Like get involved with organizing.
Yes.
Okay.
I make it very
And
straightforward.
can you
chat.
we definitely need to give credits to some of 跟人有约 supporter who are like your longest supporting fan. Come on.
Okay, right first, Keith
From?
Hair Stage, the Hair Stage. Keith
Yes.
from the Hair Stage. Then we have Ken Chong from N now it's N Plus Salon. He's also the Shiseido ambassador. And then we have Ethan Pond. He's now with Starlight Salon.
Ah.
And then we have Kent. He's from Golden Apple. And our latest addition, just last night, because we were having our so-called AGM meeting.
Oh,
AGM meeting.
okay.
And then I was, because of your message, I was messaging Kenny. And then I asked Kenny, are you free? You want to come down?
Right.
So since he want to come down on the day we're having meeting,
Right.
he's being enrolled into the workforce.
Okay, just to give the audience a bit of
Kenny.
context, Kenny was here at my studio and we had a conversation. So yeah, today we have Kenneth. Okay, all right. So what are your hopes and vision for 跟人有约?
Okay, let's be a bit more clear first. 跟人有约 is a platform. Now, what kind of platform? It is a platform where it is done only strictly by hairdressers for hairdressers coming in face to face. It's not a group chat, it's not a platform on Facebook, because I believe very strongly that conversation and real heart-to-heart conversation comes when you're face to face.
100%.
So we learn from each other so importantly to improve whatever we believe in. It doesn't matter, it could be hairdressing, it could be friendship, it could be people, but we are missing that now.
Sorry, can I add a little bit? So any audience out there, if you are a student if you just want to explore hairdressing, you are 100% welcome. You know,
Yes.
like before you decide, okay, should I throw in the money and time and effort to enroll in a hairdressing school or be an apprentice? Like, you know, 100% welcome, right? Okay, good.
Yeah, sure. So, but that's one thing. We made it really very clear that this platform is hairdresser by hairdresser. Hence, we reject any sponsorship from product companies so that it is unbiased. So we will have topics which is unbiased. We can share information of.
So you will say like, oh, you can mix XX brand with
Doesn't
YY
matter.
brand and you get this
Exactly.
awesome formula. Oh my god, I love that.
You know, the thing is that, but of course, we tend not to say such things openly because we might get into legal disputes. But of course, off the screen, you know, when you have conversation with another fellow hairdresser, we are actually indeed learning. And then it's very simple explanation to this kind of concept. You have an apple, I have a pear. He has a pineapple, right? Each give out a little bit of your fruit, and we have a fruit platter. Everybody enjoys the fruit platter.
100%.
And we give the client that variety of choice. The only difference is attitude, style, maybe gender makes that difference. The client just chooses because of that. It's not a bad thing.
And also to top that up a little bit, clients are so exposed and
especially-
educated, you
yes.
know, again, social media, blah, blah, blah. They, so personally, like, you know, I will also do my homework as a hairstylist to try different products from different brands, and then I will share with my clients, okay, this is your hair texture, and I think this particular product from this brand is good for you, you know. And my clients, they are like, wow, I really appreciate that, because I can trust that you already done your homework and you have already curated a list of products that works for us. And this is as a hairdresser, this is the additional kind of like customer service and care that we can give to the clients, right?
Exactly. I mean, we set our level of professionalism by ourselves. We have to understand that we are all fellow hairdressers, and in order to understand what we want to let the client understand what is professionalism, we need to be able to understand it between ourselves first.
100%.
So when this platform was started up, one of the intention is I wanted to help to be part of the elevation of our industry. I wanted to create a platform where we can all be free in that sense, not in terms of money, just in being free to express, not frustration. That's where I'm very clear. We're not there to express our frustration, but express our means and capability to improve the trade. You may not think that you will have something, but you'll be surprised when you start sharing the positivity of your skills. You will start to see that everybody starts to warm up together, everybody starts to express that, hey, this is what I can do well, let's share. And then you will start to realize you are improving all together.
100%, yeah.
And once this 跟园纽约 as it goes going for the couple of months down the road, I started to see that it's going somewhere. But going in a slow pace, but steadily. Because I am not trying to make it a very popular thing. Because anything that popularized in a short while dies quickly.
Yeah, it's purely a fun project.
Exactly.
And your way of giving back to the industry in some ways.
I feel that there's something that I can contribute. It's something that I'm pretty good at. I mean, I've been doing Freelance Educator for many years. And usually in my classes, when I do is, after my class, they tend to stick around for a couple more hours after class, and we do chit chats. And then I start to fire questions, I start to draw ideas behind, you know, for them to think about. But usually it's positive concepts, you know, just chew on it, chew on these thoughts. How can these thoughts improve your views of your own skills and your own capacity? So from that, I hope that when 跟园纽约 is going to be more and more established, I don't want it to be just 跟园纽约, you know. Maybe one day you'll be at Catherine's studio 纽约, you know.
Unfortunately, my
Smaller.
studio is not that big.
That's the idea. You see,
Right.
what I've just shared with my core team is I hope one day 跟园纽约, maybe because my shop is quite spacious, I can host quite 30, 40 people, no problem. But maybe one topic today, this month, we talk about, like this following month, in 1st of August, we're going to talk about washing. Is how good are you doing? You know? This topic may start at my salon or at my point, the origin of it, but it can go to the next salon using the same topic. We can just expand it. You can't.
I see. Okay.
Then you set up in your area, for example, you're in Ang Mo Kio, then maybe you have a couple of friends in Ang Mo Kio salon, or maybe near Toa Payoh. Hey, come over, it's nearby. So people don't have to travel that far. We don't have people from Jurong coming to Serangoon anymore. Somebody from Jurong, maybe he came already, and then he go back to his salon. The next following week, he say, oh, this week is at my place. And
So you're trying to create this ripple effect, like hoping that more people will want to adopt this concept of hosting such events.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because if we don't feel comfortable having a fellow hairdresser coming into our salon, we will always view them as enemies. That is something very, very hard. If hairdresser who knows me for a very long time, you would realize that for decades, not decades, more than 10 years, actually ever since I was an educator, I've always been asked to do the same thing, telling them the same thing. Feel free to drop by my salon. Well, I do have once in a while some of them, but most of the time people are just shy. But I'm a little bit less shy, so I always have this habit of talking to people's salon.
Okay.
But I just find that it is a good thing if we can. Let's not view each other as negative aspects of things, but maybe we can have positive competition where we can all, do better.
Look, I definitely see that changing slowly but surely.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I also understand that your pretty much entire family is involved with your business. Your wife and your daughter.
Yes.
Okay, so can you share with us like how did your wife complement or contribute to your business?
So my salon business is definitely what people would call a family business.
Nice.
And of course, it started from my mom, but the concept of the way we do business changed the moment I started my own brand. But then, because I have a loving wife, which she sacrificed her career herself just to come to the salon to help me to wash hair. So from there, we started her with chemicals.
Can I interrupt? How? So she wasn't in the industry.
No.
What was her background?
She was doing corporate gifts.
Okay. And how did you convince her to this like 360-degree change? No choice. 嫁鸡随鸡，嫁狗随狗. Oh my god. Okay. What's your wife's name? Can we give her a big shout out?
Hi, Chris. My wife is Chris Ng.
Chris Ng. Hi, Chris. Okay.
So she has always been my support for most of the things I do. So over the years, before the business, it's always a lot of times we communicate together. We share a lot of things. We share common interests. A lot of things we do, we actually like things together. But for the business, it was totally different because she was not in the hairdressing scene. But she realized, she understood that at that time, if I were to start a business, I need to hire more people. Why not that she start helping us first? So maybe initially it was just to help out, but she managed it well. Clients liked her, and she's a cleanliness specialist.
Cleanliness specialist. Are you trying to find a nice word for OCD? Okay.
But because of that, it created one of our salon's
signature.
strengths. Yes, clean. So especially when we do coloring, we wash colors, we wash hair, we make sure that, especially when it comes to chemicals, we make it very, very clean. And she does that perfect job. So with that, she found her position in the salon, and then she started to help me to manage the accounts, because I manage clients, and then physically I'm tired, and then so she helped me with the accounts. And then eventually we moved into more exclusive, so she started to help me with the appointments. So she decided, and we also both decided that it's best that she doesn't go into hair cutting because it's another level of work which will just be too strenuous.
For hairdressers, it's really a curse. Because sometimes you get so busy with cutting hair, and as a salon owner, how are you going to remove yourself from that? And yeah, exactly. So it's really a curse. Yeah. And okay, the next member in your family.
Daughter.
Yes.
So for my daughter was most typical teenager would have to face after they finish their O levels was to go to the next step. So my daughter's result was pretty good. She was actually able to go to any poly or JC if she chose to. You know, she has an option. But at that time, her choice wasn't clear. She didn't really know where she wanted to go. She was just like taking a book and then tikam, this one sounds interesting, looks interesting. So to me, my work involved coaching people and educating people, I realized that that's not the correct way to choose. So I told her, maybe not choose a class now. Why not you try to do hairdressing for a year and then learn from the clients about job aspects, about what are the different criteria of work that you can choose to. So get yourself more exposed. And because a lot of my clients are professionals, so I find that it's a very good environment for her to understand. And after trying in the salon for about 9 months, the client starts to compliment her work, and then because she's pretty gifted with her hands, you know, really raw gift where she can do things very well with her hands. And she also had that very strong sense of color because she is very artistic by nature. She likes to do art and craft, like that, right? So pattern also like that, huh? So because of that, complained by the wife, yeah. So because of that, she started to feel more confident, and she felt maybe we had a good conversation where I say, why not go it all the way? Like if you're going to study poly, you're going to study 3 years, you're going to try something to see whether you can or not. It takes you 3 years. Might as well now you're doing this hairdressing, why not you give it the 3 years? Same thing. And
so are you packing her away to a hairdressing school or literally just learning inside the shop?
It depends on that. Because right now we are also still understanding her strength on which direction of hairdressing she can go, and then from there, then we will bring to the next level.
Okay. So let's put in this scenario that she says, oh sorry.
My son.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize he is involved. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, he's not involved. So now my son, because he's not really keen into doing hair itself, because typical boy and a bit too monotonous to him because he doesn't see the fun in it yet. So, but he is what we have in our salon right now, our support. So he helps us to clean the place, set up the place. He can help us to manage the place, the maintenance of the place. So if he can eventually see the benefit of his position in the salon, why not? Because as I mentioned, in the whole salon scene, there is so many aspects of it. And if we start to break it down, every aspect can be managed well, then the business will be a very successful business.
If he can just manage your social media and your marketing,
Exactly.
he's helping you to save like half of the energy and time already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I need to help him to clear his addiction to social media first.
Okay, before getting him on again. All right. What I was going to ask you, back to the question. So let's say if your daughter say, okay, I'm ready to go to a hairdressing school, where will you send her?
To be honest, currently in Singapore, nowhere yet.
Because?
I'm not so exposed to other schools myself because I'm not clear about their curriculum. So, and at the same time, currently, to be fair, it's not a necessity for her to have a certification to prove that she can do hair. And currently, her level of skills and the way that she's doing hair, she is already very good for her level of work.
But the reason why I'm asking these questions is because in a country, I'm assuming in most countries, especially in Singapore, paper qualification is so important. And at the moment, the only hairdressing certification that is recognized by our Singapore government is from the ITE, which is the Institute of Technical Education, right? So, of course, we've been doing hair, no matter how much money and time we spend on whatever certification, it's not recognized by our government.
Of course.
And again, from my own, yes, but from my own experience, that not having that paper qualification definitely closed many doors. So, and now your daughter is in the even, relevant, current generation where paper qualification is almost anything. So what would be your advice for her?
Maybe I'm really a little bit old school on that because right now, it's not that I don't believe in education. I'm actually pretty good in studying, but I just never finished my studies. I'm sharing with my daughter is my own personal experience and how I view the world today. Paper qualification has surpasses its needs in terms where there is a flood of it, it's flooding now. So to my perspective is that because education is, a lot of people believe that it opens door for certain jobs. But this generation that the doors itself are limited. I agree because it is the fact. But the world is also starting to change where now the hiring concept and the hiring process is changing not just because of diplomas or degrees. Paper qualification is not the only aspect now today. So for certain degree of work, especially in our industry, is that you need to be able first prove the level of your work. From there, you will be able to get your business.
Competency over
Exactly.
paper. Okay.
I agree. But that is the challenge part. I'm not saying that every single person should do what my daughter is doing or what I'm doing. My daughter is lucky because she has an environment. Myself, because I'm very into education, so I know how to educate her and I structure my education for her, personalized. It's very different. But if anybody who is interested in hairdressing has to go in a different direction. You cannot just, unless you're lucky, your dad or your mom is also a hairdresser, you can learn from them. Or you have to really go down the old, most traditional way is being an apprentice for a very long time.
Yes.
If not, go for a school that can give you the basic skills. So currently, like what we just mentioned, IT is the only recognized by the government. But the trade-wise may not necessarily be true because now a lot of the businesses in Singapore in hairdressing itself, they will hire somebody as long as they're capable.
Yes, definitely. And also, like, I think like for us to be in this industry long enough, Singapore is the kind of environment, at least for now, that as long as you dare to hold a scissors, okay, I'm a hairdresser, but we know like places like UK, America, even Japan, like we need some licensing, and I think, I hope Singapore will take our time to move towards that direction.
We are.
Yeah.
Actually, we are. Like right now, what you're doing today, you're exposing our industry to more and more people. And definitely those people who is already in or aspire to be. Myself, when I do this platform, I'm also doing the same thing. I'm trying to improve and I want to elevate the level of hairdresser first, so that when you have good hairdressing, you have good people to advise the government or to advise what we will call the next or the future hair salons, hair academy to do. Because right now, we have a lot of academies in Singapore are still teaching a lot of the materials that they bought or they create like 20 years, 30 years ago, which is totally irrelevant. So we need to have the correct information that can be shared to them.
Okay, whatever you just share, I'm afraid I am not in a position to agree or disagree or comment because I haven't stepped foot into a hair academy for a long time. So yeah, I just want to clarify that. Anything else to add? Oh, actually, I do have something before I forget. So, like, again, I want to highlight the fact that we mentioned about, okay, paper qualification is not everything. But having said that, we are not implying that education is not important. We are both, after some years, we're back into education again.
Exactly. Because right now, what we are doing is actually we are trying to pave.
Yes.
A lot of people will always believe that I don't believe in education. I'm just saying that I don't believe in the current system that we have.
Yeah, so we don't believe in paper chasing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and learning for the sake of passion, not learn something because this can open up doors.
A lot of people have this mindset. I mean, of course, my age, especially under X-Gen. So X-Gen was brainwashed to believe, hey, you have a degree, your life will be very good, or you will earn a lot of money. And money was the only thing that we thought that we wanted to do.
For the boomers, yes, but for our generation, the society is always evolving and changing.
So we are going to be part of cultures. So I hope that hairdressing is also part of a live culture rather than just service. That's why when I did this platform, as it evolves, I find that there is a small little thing that it can do for all of us. So I feel that if we can get conversation going towards the positive direction, where we are not just letting the government or letting the relevant authorities hear that, oh, we're just angry. We are actually trying to make sense we are matured as an entity, as a business. We are maturing well, and
Yes.
how are we going to get to the next level? And we have proper conversation rather than, oh, what can you do for me? No.
No,
What can we do together?
we're not. Yeah, definitely. I think one thing I really appreciate about like why we connected so well is because like it's not about sitting around and waiting for things to happen
Exactly.
and waiting for
Do
our
something.
government to do this and that. It's like let's do
Exactly.
something together. Let's talk. Let's get involved.
Because
Right.
everyone has a strength. Like she's right now, Catherine is creating a platform where she's sharing a lot more information, where you can get the access to the information anytime you want. Just pick up
Thank
your
you.
phone.
Thank you.
Then that variety of knowledge is up to you. It's there. Whereas I'm doing more focus, where I want the interaction between humans. I want them to be able to converse and then move towards the positivity.
Yes.
And-
Sorry, one last thing to add is like everyone is entitled to our own opinion.
Exactly.
Whatever we share on this platform, on my website,
Say one.
you might not agree, and it's okay. You know, we don't have to entirely agree because it's just sharing. You know,
Exactly.
and the way to get things going is like, hey, you know what? Like we just had this like I beg to differ, blah blah blah. But that's how we sort of like, oh, rethink my perspective. Should I change a little bit of this and that? Yeah. So that's also one thing I like to share. I'm not like, oh, you know, this is my opinion and this is the way to go. I might be wrong. You know. Yeah. So that is something I really like to share. Like, even though I've been in this industry for 20 years. I'm still a baby. There's still a lot more to learn.
It's weird, right? Most of us, once we cross that stage, we suddenly realize that we know so little.
100%.
So little. So, having said about this platform, this little platform also helped me to.
Stop saying little, okay? You know, everything got to start somewhere.
So, this seeding platform has already helped me to connect to a friend from Mazala and Tham.
Ah.
It's a friend where we met many years ago, and it's basically on a hairdressing event too. And something that happened is that he's also doing something in the UK, and he's calling it Life With, where you get platform art, you get artists, you get hairdressers who's passionate, famous, good in their craft, who has passionate in certain craft of hairdressing, particular discipline in hairdressing, come together at the same spot, sharing right in front of you, you know, in a salon space, just 2 feet away, and sharing their skills.
So literally up close and personal
Yes,
sharing.
and
Okay.
it's not teaching. This is showing this is how I do it. And
Amazing.
it's done for. It's like what I'm doing. But I talk, he shows.
Okay, so 不要卖关子了. When is it happening?
It's going to happen in 16 August.
Okay, hi everyone. Please remember 16th of August, and where is it going to happen? Take place?
Live with Live with in Singapore, 16 August, happening at the Lawn Hairdressing.
The lawn. Where is the lawn?
The lawn is at Tiong Bahru.
Tiong Bahru.
So you
Okay.
can go and find some nice food there, also nice parks and everything. You know,
Right.
the very nice vintage place. My friend has a beautiful salon which he agreed to close early because the event is going to start at 8 o'clock to 10 p.m.
Wow.
And we're gonna
10,
have
are you sure? It's going
Well,
to go
you
way
know,
past
yeah,
that.
I
Right.
mean, you see, the thing is that it just happened over a simple conversation. So I talked to JB, come on, would you want to try this?
Right.
Let's do it, something like that in Singapore. And he was game
So for
it.
audience who don't really know who JB is, no offense to you, JB,
Of
but
course,
you know, so can you please share with our audience a little bit more about
Okay.
JB's background?
JB is an educator. He has his own education brand called M&P, and they are very good in letting you understand what hair cutting is about. It's not just about cutting hair. Why you do it? That is something. If I'm correctly, that is their motto of their educational concept.
They do a lot of foundation training, and he
Exactly.
himself spent
He has
many
a-
years with Vidal Sassoon.
Yes, he was one of the principal educator, and he was also had a very strong tutelage under the famous Tim Hartley. It was Tim Hartley who actually brought him out, like introduced him to the world.
Right. And the best part is he is doing this for free.
Yes, we are all doing it for free. You know,
Yes.
all of you just need to come and see what other fellow hairdressers been doing. We are not just that person you see on the small little thing on the stage, you know. I mean, I've done hair shows, I've seen hair shows, you know, yeah, we're very far away.
It's going to be a fun event, you know,
Yeah.
so yeah, please come along. So anyway, I will
Bring a friend,
include all the information about the event, the dates, the
Yes.
venue at the show notes.
And then the lineup is going to be big.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. So now, before we end the show, I have a list of questions on my hand, number 1 to 8, okay? Unrelated to hairdressing at all, so that our audience can know a little bit more about it. I know you love sharing, but you know, yeah.
You know,
So,
this kind of question are always
number 1 to 8, please.
Okay, 2.
2. Okay, where's number 2? Okay, here we go. Oh my god. This question had never been picked. So, you're the first one. One thing or habit that you like to change about yourself?
Wow. I would like to change my snacking habit before I sleep. You know, that will help me to cut a lot of my weight. You know, this has never been gone away. You know. This cupcake is still there for so long. Yeah, less snacking, sleep earlier. You know,
Okay.
I snack to keep awake. It's silly, isn't it?
Yeah, okay. So, okay, make that your New Year's resolution, alright? Okay, next one. But everyone have our vice lah, right? Okay, next question.
4.
4. Okay. Easiest way to make you angry?
People doing stupid things.
Oh my god, okay, now you have
Let
to
me emphasize.
explain stupid.
To a lot of people, stupid is a very vague concept, so they have always been scolded. So to me, stupid is very simple. Stupid is something that is being repeated. For example, don't do this. I've explained to you and you have done it before. You already know the negativity in it. Don't do this again. But you go and do it again. By knowing the consequences and the results, and you do something again, that is a stupid. Stupidity to me is a concept and a way you think, the way you think. So if you do things you know that it's going to be negative and you've already done it before and then you do it again, to me that is stupid.
So you're not just implying on hair, just general in life.
General in life.
Okay, good. Last one?
Or same thing, hairdresser also when they do stupid things. But I will scold myself also lah.
Yeah, I mean, no need to be so hard on ourselves. And sometimes we do learn from mistakes. You know, like if the result turn out is not ideal, okay, we won't try that again. Or maybe we need to try like another 100 times. Who knows?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
last
the life of
question.
hairdresser. 6.
6.
Got all the even numbers.
Okay, again, first question. Worst fashion disaster?
Wow. That one is actually a very, very good. I can put it in a way. It was a shirt with it was just a normal shirt with a V-neck t-shirt inside.
Why is that your fashion disaster?
Because that was, I thought, my style, because I sweat a lot. I was much heavier then. So the t-shirt inside was actually supposed to help me to absorb the extra sweat and perspiration. Because of that dressing, created a misinterpretation to one of my fellow hairdressers for many years.
Like?
Many years. She thought that I was transvestite. She thought I was a girl. I was a
Oh, you were like
coach.
binding up.
I was binding
Okay.
up because I know that it was that during those days.
Okay, wait.
It was-
Nothing against
There's
people
nothing
of
against
any
people, nothing.
orientation, you know, like. But of course, if you're a
Because
straight
of my
man, you
dress.
wouldn't want to be mistaken as.
I didn't know. So how did I find out that she thought that I was because during one event, I was holding out my handphone.
Your
and
family
then
picture.
My family picture came out.
Mm-hmm.
Then she was looking at me and then said, "Who is that?" "Oh, my wife and my kids." "Are you sure?"
Show the audience your face.
Kenneth, you tell me you're a guy? And I said, "Yeah." And then family got child, got kid. Now the reason I can understand because you see, I have a bad habit. It is my habit to speak in this kind of tone. It's neither manly enough to like. I have a soft key, high key. And then being a hairdresser, you know, it's not like I'm not a very
Masculine.
and then very firm and everything. So that approach was a little bit misleading at some point. I believe.
I don't think it's a fashion disaster lah. It's just a misunderstanding. Okay, great. Thank you very much for coming today. So I will see you very soon.
Thank you for the invite.
Thank you very much. Okay, bye guys.